and welcome. I'm Laurel Stewart, and here's what happened this week. Taiwan has achieved baseball glory, winning the WBSC Premier12 tournament. The win is the first of its kind for Taiwan and marks a major milestone in the country's sports history. Leslie Liao has more.
Cheers, tears, and baseball immortality. Taiwan won its first ever World Baseball title at the national team level, going all the way at the 2024 Premier12 tournament in the Tokyo Dome. The team clinched gold after defeating defending champions Japan 4-0 in an upset victory that rocked the sports world. Going into the final match, Taiwan faced a daunting challenge. Japan's national team hadn't lost a game in 5 years and was on a 27-game win streak. But Taiwan rose to the occasion, scoring 4 runs on a pair of home run hits. In the 5th inning, catcher Lyle Lin hit a solo shot. Shortly afterward, team captain Chen Jiexian hit a 3-run blast.
我也很对我们团队很感到骄傲，就是我们走到最后一天，然后到了最后一天还是拿到金牌这样。
Taiwan's starting pitcher Lin Yumin and the rest of the pitching staff held Japan scoreless and limited their offense to just 4 hits.
我想哭可是哭不出来，因为感觉还没有反应过来，因为这对我们来说其实是一个梦，所以我觉得有点很不可思议的感觉。
For a country where baseball is the national sport, the achievement has been a long time coming. Across Taiwan, people packed into watch parties and erupted into sheer joy at the moment of victory. Team Taiwan's victory has lifted the country's spirits, and it's become a major source of national pride.
蛮感动的，对我把颁奖典礼都看完，对，因为很难得站上颁奖典礼，对，所以我把颁奖典礼全部看完。
我觉得很感动，陈杰宪超帅的。
其实蛮多人都不太看好的，但是我觉得。 正是因为他们不断的训练，他们敢于去挥杆，可能到训练到很晚，他们重新在这个舞台证明自己。
Taiwan's previous best performance was winning silver at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, over 3 decades ago. But this most recent win writes a new chapter in Taiwan baseball, one where Taiwan has won it all and earned its place as world champions. Patrick Sun and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
Concerns over Vice President Kim Hsiao's security are mounting after an incident during Taiwan's baseball victory celebration. As fans gathered to cheer the return of Taiwan's Premier12 champions at Taoyuan Airport, staff of a duty-free shop pushed past security to take photos with Vice President Hsiao. Legislators are criticizing the lack of oversight and questioning the security protocols for high-ranking officials. Despite issuing an apology and pledging a donation to youth baseball, the duty-free company now faces a fine of $30,000 and growing calls for a boycott. President Lai Ching-te is preparing to visit Taiwan's 3 diplomatic allies in the Pacific, but a scheduled transit in the United States has prompted a response from China. Reese has more on why Beijing is weighing in on Lai's itinerary.
A sharp response from China, upset that President Lai Ching-te will transit in Hawaii and possibly the overseas US territory of Guam during his first official overseas trip as the president of Taiwan. Lai will visit Tuvalu, Palau and the Marshall Islands, 3 of Taiwan's remaining diplomatic allies, in a trip beginning November 30th. China is accusing Lai of seeking independence by relying on outside forces and violating the One China principle. Taiwan can't schedule official visits to places like the US due to pressure from China. But even this, a simple stopover in Hawaii, has prompted China to urge Washington, D.C. not to allow Lai to land on US soil and to stop enabling what they call Taiwan's separatist forces.
任何企图制造一中一台、两个中国 等违反一个中国原则的挑衅行径，都必将遭到全体中国人民的反对。我们敦促美方恪守一个中国原则和中美3个联合公报规定，停止向台独势力发出任何错误信号。
A group of US Congress members have sent an official letter to US President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, requesting they allow Lai's transit and even that they actively meet with him during his transit in Hawaii. There's no comment yet from the White House or from Taiwan, but a meeting seems unlikely and would be seen as highly provocative. Taiwan's and regional security officials are already anticipating that China's likely to carry out some large-scale military exercises around Taiwan to coincide with Lai's overseas trip to the Pacific. Chris Ma, John Su and Rees in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
A US Navy plane has flown through the Taiwan Strait, the first to do so since the US presidential election. The Navy says it sent a P-8 surveillance plane to demonstrate Washington's commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The last time a US Navy plane flew through the strait was in September. A group representing families that hire caregivers for elderly and disabled people is calling for changes to Taiwan's system for hiring migrant workers. At an event in Taipei, they said high costs and hidden fees may lead employers to break the law and hire undocumented workers. Chris Gorin brings us this report.
Taiwan needs to reform its system for hiring migrant caregivers for the disabled and elderly. That's the message delivered at the legislature by an organization representing families who need caregivers.
The average salary for a caregiver is $700. So we are compared like they are making here in Taiwan is 4 to 5 times more compared from what they make back home. But the problem is when they come to Taiwan, they think the salary is not good enough. Okay, but if we pay as much as the local ones, we cannot afford it. And because it's not enough, we will just find the illegal migrant workers in the black markets. For me, for example, it would be much cheaper and easier for me to hire the illegal ones. Do you want to encourage all the people in Taiwan to hire some illegal ones instead of going through the right process?
They say that families in need shouldn't have to pay a required monthly fee of about $60 while hiring migrant caregivers, which they say is a hidden tax on the disabled. And they say paying a monthly salary of about $680 per month to migrant caregivers is already a hardship for many families, leading many to hire undocumented workers illegally. Taiwan is projected to become a super-aged society next year, meaning 20% of people will be over the age of 65. And that number is only expected to increase over time, meaning more families will be looking to hire caregivers for elderly relatives. Balancing the need for caregivers with concerns about illegal immigration and Taiwan's low average salaries, this is an issue that affects families in their homes as well as their pocketbooks. Fu Hua Hong and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Former Labour Ministry official Hsiao has been named the defendant in a criminal investigation into a workplace bullying case. Hsiao is set to be questioned for potential misconduct and negligence leading to death. She is alleged to have contributed to the suicide of a worker in her team. Hsiao has also been banned from leaving Taiwan for 8 months. She has pledged to fully cooperate with the investigation. Some DPP lawmakers are sounding the alarm over a group of Chinese athletes and students on a visit to Taiwan. They're worried about possible espionage, pointing to the fact that many on the trip are affiliated with China's Communist Party. But the organizers of the visit are dismissing the fears as baseless. Chris Gorin reports.
Media and fans of China's table tennis star Ma Long crowd the champion as he arrives at Taiwan's Taoyuan Airport. He's the most famous member of the group of Chinese students and athletes arriving in Taiwan for a cross-strait exchange.
这是我给他写的一个小卡片，因为他其实现在可能不会太出现在赛场上了，然后他希望我们还是能对他说马龙再来一球。我本身也是大陆来的交换生嘛，然后所以我觉得就是由马龙带着大学生们一起过来是一种 很好的沟通的方式，让大家能够互相更了解彼此。
The exchange was organized by the foundation of former Taiwan President Ma Ying-jeou, who has made strong efforts to improve cross-strait relations. But many on this trip are affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, raising concerns among some Taiwanese lawmakers. One legislator pointed to other examples of espionage involving sports exchanges.
上一次呢，我们台湾的总统这一个形成相关的泄露，就是因为他们举办相关的扯铃的运动交流，所以对他们来讲呢，所有的交流都是统战的一部分。
Those leading the exchange dismissed the concerns.
大陆有将近1亿人的这个中共的党员，那这是很平常嘛？你看我们到大陆去参访，也有民进党的，也有国民党的，也有民众党的，难道大陆也要觉得说你是什么党的就不能来吗？
Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council, which handles cross-strait relations, says despite the concerns, this exchange is by the book.
符合规定的情况下，我们还是乐观、乐见其成两岸的这个交流。目前可能还是没有太多有可能会有这样国家安全的一些疑虑。
Visits like these underscore the sensitivity of cross-strait exchanges in Taiwan, where many see a fine line between cultural diplomacy and national security. Eason Chen and Chris Gorin for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's largest lake has an invasive species problem, the giant snakehead. Locals have gotten creative as they try to root out this environmental threat. Wesley Lewis has more.
This is Taiwan's renowned Sun Moon Lake, the country's largest body of water. It is also among its most scenic spots, hosting dozens of endemic aquatic species. But its natural balance and serenity have come under threat. Native to Southeast Asia, the giant snakehead has appeared in Sun Moon Lake and been preying on other species, which they're able to swallow whole. The large predator was first brought to the country as ornamental fish for aquariums.
一开始它孵化其实是红色的，我们在猜可能是因为它一开始进来的时候它蛮漂亮的，所以会有水族业者他会去进口这个东西。
Adult giant snakeheads can exceed 1 meter in length, and out in the open, they can be difficult to catch. It also has virtually no natural competitors or predators here, so the government introduced an eradication plan to control its population. In 2020, nearly 70,000 giant snakeheads were removed through electrofishing, which uses electrical rods that cause uncontrolled muscular convulsions in the fish. And then once they're close enough, the fish are stunned. This operation seems to be working. Last year, over 35,000 giant snakeheads were caught using the same method, and this year, the number dropped to less than 3,500. But officials say it's too early to celebrate.
有可能是因为我们前一段时间那么多年下来的努力的成果，那我们后续我们明年大概也会持续观察，只要因为现在已经假设说已经执行到尾声了，那我想应该还是。 去保持着它一个数量的控制。
Local fishers like Mr. Chen are also doing what they can to protect the local fish, coming out before sunrise, when the invasive giant snakeheads tend to feed, to set up traps.
那它所有欲望最高的时候，基本上活饵是最吸引它的，所以我都会先钓日月潭的总统鱼，来就是当成活饵。啊。
But sometimes the fish outsmart the fishers, eating the live bait and avoiding the hook. But there's another way the locals are addressing the overpopulation of giant snakeheads, turning those that are caught into a delicacy.
因为它只要变成一道佳肴好吃的话，大家喜欢吃它，它应该很快就会不见了。
But the invasive species hasn't disappeared just yet, and until it does, fishers, officials, and restaurateurs here in Sun Moon Lake will keep finding their own ways to address this issue, determined to resolve the matter by hook or by crook. Howard Zhang and Wesley Lewis for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching Here's What Happened. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with more from the parade held in Taipei to honour the national baseball team for its victory in the Premier12 championship. I'm Laurel Stewart. Take care and see you next week.